War talk, threats, provocations, continuing nuclear testing. North Korea's totalitarian regime remains closed to the world. We're going to talk about whether its latest escalation of menacing words should be taken seriously. But first, a reminder of the latest events.
The hotline to North Korea has gone cold. They've stopped answering on this last channel of communication. The North has said that with war possible at any minute, why bother? On Tuesday, Pyongyang released photos of Communist leader Kim Jong-un surveying military preparations at an unspecified location. National television broadcast a message aimed at the UN Security Council, warning that the North is ready to launch a nuclear war, blaming provocation on the United States and what it called its South Korean puppets. Pyongyang says its military is in combat posture. Washington says North Korea's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs are a threat to US and international peace and security. Ordinary North Koreans, such as this man, follow a familiar line. He says, "How dare the Yankee wolves insult our supreme leadership? The army and people are fully ready. Once revered Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un gives the order, we will turn as one to destroy the US strongholds and wipe those Yankees off the face of the earth." The Pentagon says North Korea's missile capability is classified information, but the Joint Chiefs of Staff Vice Chairman this month said one type probably could reach the United States. Allies South Korea and Japan are clearly accessible. The State Department reiterated its position.
The U.S. is fully capable of defending itself and our allies against the DPRK attack, and we're firmly committed to the defense of the Republic of Korea and Japan.
Meanwhile, on Tuesday, South Koreans commemorated the 3rd anniversary of the sinking of one of their warships, in which 46 sailors were killed. Caused by a torpedo fired by the North, says Seoul, although Pyongyang has always denied that. President Park Geun-hye made an appeal for peace. She said North Korea should drop its nuclear weapons, missiles, provocations and threats and become a responsible member of international society. This is the only way the North can survive, she said. The North's 3rd nuclear test last month triggered new United Nations sanctions against the famine-prone nation of 25 million people, also plunging reprisal rhetoric to new depths.
Juliette Morillo, bonjour. Juliette Morillo, journalist with a monthly magazine review whose newest issue is on a nuclear Iran and North Korea. You're a Korea specialist and lived there. We're used to hearing North Korea make threats, especially after joint military exercises held by the United States and South Korea. But direct threats aimed at the American enemy, that's fairly new, isn't it?
Yes, it is new. We've seen the North's alternating provocation phases and appeasement phases for years. It will generally accept China's initiative to return to the 6-way negotiating table for denuclearizing the peninsula. But here we can really say it has ratcheted up the tension. Partly it's because there's a new leader, and all the leaders in the region are new. There's a new team in China, a new president in South Korea, and a new prime minister in Japan. So it's important for Kim Jong-un to make an impression. But tension has also moved up a notch because he knows how to use the media very well. And as I say, needs to show who's boss. He's really gone out on a limb. We'll see if we can avoid a collision.
Donc il est allé très très loin, reste à savoir si on ne risque pas un accrochage.
North Korea is totally isolated internationally. Even its last remaining economic ally, China, has had something to say. What is the Kim Jong-un regime looking to gain?
This extremely turbulent ally of China is actually causing it extreme embarrassment, because China wants to align with the international community, but won't drop North Korea as its historic ally. then also North Korea won't let China tell it what to do in any way. I think China can intervene and probably moderate Kim's tantrums, but it will not be able to give Pyongyang any orders.
Mais ne pourra pas dicter quoi que ce soit au régime de Pyongyang.
But what use is all this noise to Kim?
Le but, il est double en fait.
There's a double goal. Part of it is meant for North Korea for internal consumption. What I mean is Kim Jong-il died a year ago, so the new young leader Kim Jong-un has to establish his power and unite his people behind a common project. In this case, the fight against American imperialism. Where the world is concerned, Kim is cleverly using the regional status quo. He wants a bilateral dialogue with the United States. When I talk about the status quo, it's really to say that no one is really interested in the two Koreas reunifying. The South has Germany as an example, and doesn't want its standard of living to fall. China doesn't want a reunified Korea, a nuclear-powered democracy on its doorstep, and Japan doesn't want an anti-Japanese reunited Korea either. As for the US, let's not forget that with China's rise in military strength, it doesn't want to lose its outposts, which are targeted today. I mean its bases in Okinawa, Guam, and also South Korea.
Montée en puissance militaire de la Chine, il ne souhaite pas non plus.
So Kim Jong-un is using all these elements to play the status quo in a sort of international game of fools.
Attise tous ces éléments et joue de ce statu quo, c'est une sorte de jeu de dupes international.
Très bien. Juliette Morillo, merci beaucoup. Je rappelle que vous êtes journaliste spécialiste de la Corée. Merci d'avoir répondu à nos questions.
Merci.